Alright everyone, I'm here to give you guys a nice old video. And this is going to be different from what I normally do. I normally do the Raw, the SmackDown, the main events, NXT, all that stuff. Well, I do the reviews, but I'm not doing that today. It's going to be kind of like a predictions video, but I'm not giving predictions to any matches. I'm going to be predicting the matches that are going to happen at this particular event. It's called Possible Matches for WrestleMania 31. Normally, I made this video before. Anytime WrestleMania comes around, I always like to get this video out because I like to get my intake, because I hear a lot of people say what matches they could possibly see happen, and I'm going to be doing the same thing. I made it for WrestleMania 29. It's on this channel. You can check it out. I made it for WrestleMania 30. And that's on the CM Brothers channel if you want to see that. I'm here to give it to you now. Normally, like I said, it's the first video I make, but I didn't get to make it the first video this year. Well, what's going on in 2015? I usually make a video like that in the beginning of the year, but I had to make other videos first because I hadn't seen those shows yet. So I wanted to make this video first. Well, I'm going to make this video now. And I'm going to talk about matches that could happen. This isn't just going to be what the main events are going to be. It's going to be like the mid-card, the tag team, all that stuff. I am psyched for WrestleMania. I'm usually psyched for WrestleMania every year. I was psyched a lot about it last year because it was a big event last year. And I am psyched about it this year. I really don't know what direction the company's going to go in, though. There's just no way to tell. You don't really know who. I don't even really know who's going to win the Royal Rumble right now. I don't really like. There's options, but I'm not really sure. One match I definitely know is going to happen is Sting versus Triple H. There's no question about that. At Survivor Series, Sting made his WWE debut. He laid out Triple H. He cost Triple H to lose power, but now that's kind of going to make no sense because Triple H is back in power now. This match would make a little bit more sense if Triple H wasn't in power, but whatever. Maybe Sting will do something else to get under Triple H's skin, like attack him on Raw or something. Or maybe Triple H thinks he's like the man, wants to fight someone, and Sting will come out, because I definitely think Sting's versus Triple H is going to happen. I'm psyched to see that. This will be Sting's versus WrestleMania match. He's never had a match at WrestleMania because he's never been in the WWE, and this will be his probably debut match, and I can't wait to see it. They could go other options, like have him face Seth Rollins, because Seth Rollins has been talking trash about Sting, but I definitely think they're going to go the Triple H route. That's a big money match right there, and I wouldn't complain. They're definitely going to do Sting versus Triple H, no questions asked. I guess I'm going to start. Well, I don't even know where to begin now. I'm going to start with the Undertaker match. That's just that. The Undertaker match. Normally, see, this is actually the first WrestleMania, I guess technically since WrestleMania 7, with no streak. I could say, oh, but Undertaker still wrestled. Well, he didn't have the streak yet. It started, that's where it started. I guess I'll go with WrestleMania 6 then. This is going to be the first WrestleMania with no streak. That's usually the money match. Undertaker always has his streak. He defends it at WrestleMania. But now that he lost last year to Brock Lesnar, he doesn't have the streak anymore. And that's, I think, going to be a tough selling point for WrestleMania, because that's the normal reason why people bought WrestleMania. That was the drawing point of WrestleMania. Now they don't have it anymore, and it just sucks that they don't have it. I'm still upset that he lost at WrestleMania. It just kind of feel like it was done. Poor build-up. The match wasn't that good that he had with Brock Lesnar. It didn't even feel like... they can say that they planned it, but I don't think they planned it. Undertaker, I think, got injured in the match, so they had to call off the match. I don't care what you say. There's no way they pre-planned that. And Brock Lesnar... I'm happy with Brock Lesnar gone. He went on to destroy John Cena at SummerSlam, become the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion. So I'm happy where he went, but yeah. As for the Undertaker match, my opinion, I don't really want to see Undertaker wrestle anymore. the only reason, I mean, now he lost his streak. I mean, you would think if they were going to have him lose his streak that would be like his last match, that he'd never come back again. There would be no real reason for him to come back. That too, and like I said, the match he had wasn't that good. He couldn't. Undertaker just felt like something was off about him. When he even did his last ride to Brock Lesnar, that was botched. There was a lot of mess ups that Undertaker did in the match, and I don't really think it's because of his age. He's obviously old, but his body also isn't as healthy as it once was. I mean, he can only really work one match a year, and that one match he had wasn't good. So, well, it was okay, but it wasn't the Undertaker match level. So I really would rather see Undertaker retire, go into the Hall of Fame this year, maybe be the big Hall of Fame inductee this year. I wouldn't complain about that. And I'd be all fine with that. Now, if he is gonna wrestle, the one match, I think maybe two matches, but the one match I think he should have as against Brock Lesnar, have like a redemption retirement match from when he lost the streak to Brock Lesnar, and have him beat Brock Lesnar. Maybe you can have Brock, maybe at maybe at some Royal Rumble, Brock Lesnar's defending his belt against John Cena. All of a sudden, Undertaker comes out, costs Lesnar the match. Cena becomes the new champion, and you set up the match between Undertaker and Brock Lesnar. And you set up that match, and Undertaker gets his redemption. I heard rumors that they want to do Undertaker versus Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania. I have no interest in seeing that, mainly because one, he has no streak, so the Bray Wyatt, it wouldn't really be interesting. If you had asked me last year and Undertaker started a streak, I would be all down for that. But to be honest with you, Bray Wyatt looked like crap in 2014. Since after WrestleMania, I mean, Bray Wyatt, if you was on a big House of Fire last year, he hadn't lost a match on pay-per-view. He was interesting. He had beaten Daniel Bryan. Him, Harper, and Roman of the Wyatt family beat the Shield, which consisted at the time of Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns. And he was having that awesome feud with John Cena, and then his steam got killed. He lost in pretty much a 3-on-1 handicap match to John Cena, and he was able to beat at WrestleMania at Extreme Rules in a cage match. He was able to beat John Cena, but it was because of a little kid came out insane in a robe, and John Cena had already beaten 3 members of the Wyatt family. And then he lost to John Cena in the Last Man Standing match. Bray Wyatt lost all his steam. He was able to gain some of it back by that feud with Chris Jericho, which was an okay feud. When he beat him at SummerSlam, and then he beat him on Raw in that steel cage match. And then he lost. He pretty much was losing his steam, though. The Wyatt family aren't even together anymore. It's just himself now. He is getting some of it back with the Dean Ambrose feud. He has 2 victories over Dean Ambrose. One against TLC which stands for Tables, Ladders, Chairs, and Stairs in the TLC match, Tables, Ladders, and Chairs match. He beat him in the Miracle on 34th Street fight on the Christmas Raw. So he is getting some of his steam back, but I don't really think it's enough. I don't really think it's gonna be. I don't really think it's enough for Bray Wyatt to get that steam back. I think it's not. It's not really worth it. I think it's too little, too late. And I don't even know if the match would really be good. So I really don't want to see that. You still could do Sting versus Undertaker, but they're gonna go into probably the Sting Triple H route, so that's not gonna happen. And I really wouldn't have an interest in seeing that either. Like I said, Undertaker. The only match I think he should have is that Brock Lesnar redemption retirement match. That's the only match I think he should have. Now, so I talked about the Undertaker match. I talked about Sting versus Triple H. I'm going to talk about the title match. What could possibly be the big title match at Mania, the WWE World Heavyweight Championship match. I'm not even sure who's gonna. I'm pretty positive Brock Lesnar might walk in as champion, but I'm not exactly sure yet because he's still gonna get through John Cena at the Royal Rumble. Now I'm gonna talk about the Royal Rumble winners because you have a lot of options actually. You have but it's really tough though because you have a lot of options, but you don't want to pick the wrong one. You could do the one that they want to do, Roman Reigns, but then I'm not really sure. I think he might. I'm not really sure if he's ready. Sometimes the fans are with him, sometimes they're not. And I don't know. It just really. Maybe I wouldn't complain if Roman Reigns didn't win the Royal Rumble because it's just not his time. He's not ready for that spot yet. But you have two possible options. You could have Roman Reigns win the Rumble, Brock Lesnar beat Cena, retain the title. You could do Brock and have Brock defend it against Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns beats Brock Lesnar, becomes the new champion. I really wouldn't complain about that. I do think Brock Lesnar, no matter what, is dropping the belt at WrestleMania because I heard he's going back to the UFC. He's going to leave the company and go to UFC. And I think that kind of sucks because you just pretty much let him conquer the streak, and now he's going to go run off and do UFC. So, yeah, there goes there's the guy that broke the streak right there. But I really wouldn't complain about that. I think that would be a nice match and a nice story for Roman Reigns. Or you can do the other route. You can have Cena win the belt and have him defend it against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. I wouldn't complain. Well, the only thing I complain about is Cena would tie Ric Flair's record as being a 16-time World Heavyweight Champion. And I don't want that to happen, but it's going to happen, so why not, maybe get it out of the way so that way all the fans can just be pissed off at you. I do think, but the match would work because they do want to make Roman Reigns that next John Cena, and if you have Roman Reigns versus John Cena, you have Roman Reigns beat Cena clean, and that will prove that he is the next John Cena. It'll be like when Ultimate Warrior beat Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 6 for the WWF, which stands for the World Wrestling Federation Championship. And, it was a big moment. It was like the passing of the torch. That could be what this match is. Roman Reigns versus John Cena. John Cena passes the torch to Roman Reigns. However, if they don't want to do that, they have another option. They can have Daniel Bryan just announced he's going to be in the Rumble. They could have Daniel Bryan win it. And he can feud with Brock Lesnar for it. It could be a big underdog role where he's feuded with Lesnar. He's the beast. Lesnar says he can't do it. He beats Lesnar for the title. Kind of wouldn't really make any sense, though, because Daniel Bryan just got off an injury, and Brock Lesnar, and he struggled to beat a guy at SummerSlam with one arm that Brock Lesnar destroyed at SummerSlam. So it really wouldn't make that much sense. But then you could have John Cena go in defend the title against Bryan and have a rematch and Bryan says, I need to prove myself. I want to prove I can beat you fair and squared. No BS, no nothing. And he does that. Bryan beats Cena for the title and becomes the new champion. You could do something like that. I would be all for that. The only thing I complain about is Bryan's injured and he gets lock-shotted right back to the title hunt. I think that wouldn't be as good. What else could you do? You can have I think another what's it called? Logical option would be to have a Ryback win the Royal Rumble. I mean, I actually would be all for that. That's kind of the one I kind of want to happen the most. I would be fine with Roman Reigns. I'd be fine with Daniel Bryan. But I kind of am on the Ryback train right now. I'm actually enjoying Ryback. I liked his promo that he cut on Raw about how he came to the WWE, and I really couldn't complain if they decided to go on Ryback. I'm actually enjoying Ryback. I'm glad he's back to being the Feed Me More gimmick, and he's not the way he was before. And they could build him up. Maybe at the Royal Rumble, he beats Rusev. He breaks his streak, and then he goes on later on in the night to win the Royal Rumble. That would and send him going in strong into WrestleMania. Now, like, they could have John Cena win the belt against Brock and have him defend it against Ryback. I don't really want to see that. We've seen it before. I don't want to see it again. It wasn't good before. The one I want to see is I want to have Brock Lesnar beat Cena and defend the belt against Ryback. That would be awesome. Ryback versus Brock Lesnar. That's a match I think people wanted to see when Ryback first came as the Ryback gimmick in 2012. And Brock Lesnar had come back. And it would kind of make sense because Ryback was in a period of time a Paul Heyman guy. And it would make a lot of sense. And I think that would be great. Ryback would be the big conqueror. And you can have Ryback go on, beat Brock Lesnar, and become the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Another option I guess you could do is you can go the Dean Ambrose route, have Dean Ambrose win the Royal Rumble, but it kind of wouldn't make any sense because he'd be facing Brock Lesnar, and if Brock Lesnar beats Cena and defends the belt against Dean Ambrose, it really wouldn't be logical. I really wouldn't be able to believe that he could beat Brock Lesnar because he couldn't beat Seth Rollins and he couldn't beat Bray Wyatt. So I mean, I really don't have any believability that Dean Ambrose could beat Brock Lesnar and get that title off him. I really don't have that believability in that. They could have John Cena defend the belt against Dean Ambrose, but that kind of wouldn't really work. They don't really have anything to fight over, so it wouldn't really work. So I don't really think Dean Ambrose is that guy this year. They could have Dolph Ziggler win the Royal Rumble. But then what would happen there? Brock Lesnar defending the title. Brock Lesnar beats Cena, defends the title against Ziggler. Does anyone really think that Dolph Ziggler is going to beat Brock Lesnar for that belt? I don't think so. It would be a slaughter. You could have John Cena defend the belt against Dolph Ziggler. And I don't really know how that really could be a story, to be honest with you. Unless you had Dolph Ziggler work the match as a heel. Because they're not going to have John Cena work the match as the heel. Or maybe you could do like have John Cena say that Dolph Ziggler's great, he was the survivor, got the authority out of power, yada yada yada. But I don't really think that would work either. You could go the Rusev route, have Rusev win the Royal Rumble and face Brock Lesnar. I think he would get destroyed. But then you could have John Cena defend the belt against Rusev. And John Cena finally break Rusev's streak. Everyone gets pissed and pretty much hates John Cena for the rest of their lives. I don't really think, though, that Rusev and Ziggler are going to win it just because they're holding the mid-card titles right now. Ziggler's holding the Intercontinental title and Rusev's holding the U.S., so that's probably not going to happen. So, no, it's not happening. Alright, what else could they... But, I talked about these Royal Rumble winners. There's one mention that I want to actually... there's one guy I didn't mention, Randy Orton. You could have him make his return at the Royal Rumble as like a surprise entrant, and he wins the Royal Rumble. And Brock Lesnar beats John Cena, and he defends the belt against Orton. That would be interesting. Orton's a face. We've never seen Brock Lesnar versus Randy Orton except that one time in a squash match on like a SmackDown. It would work. I'd buy that. But then, to really piss the fans off, you could have John Cena. You see where I'm going with this? You could have John Cena win the belt and defend the title against Randy Orton. We get John Cena versus Randy Orton for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. We get to see John Cena versus Orton for the 3,000th time. Oh, man, that'd be terrible. I probably wouldn't even watch WrestleMania. To be honest with you, when they had the Hell in a Cell match back at Hell in a Cell, I actually turned off the pay-per-view and went and watched SpongeBob. I was originally going to watch The Walking Dead, but I didn't have time. I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to finish the episode, so I went and watched SpongeBob instead. I was going to play wrestling, but I had no wrestling game to play at the time, and I was afraid I wouldn't be able to finish the match I was playing. But, yeah, you could do that. Yeah, I hope that doesn't happen. If it does happen, I am not watching the main event of WrestleMania. You know, I just wouldn't. I mean, you could technically then say that John Cena and Randy Orton did have a one-on-one match at WrestleMania, but I don't want to see it. Then they have another option. Seth Rollins still has that Money in the Bank briefcase. You know, he hasn't lost that briefcase title shot yet. He still has it. He still hasn't cashed it in. Nothing. So you can have if he is going to cash in, though, John Cena probably would have to beat Brock Lesnar because it wouldn't make any sense if you cashed in on Lesnar. I think he would cash in on John Cena because he's the babyface, and they've been kind of feuding lately. But if Rollins cashes in, becomes the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion, and you could go the Roman Reigns route, have him win the Rumble. It would make sense. The two former members of the Shield are going at it. I'd be fine with that. I actually enjoy the matches together. You could have Seth Rollins defend the belt against Daniel Bryan, but it really wouldn't make any sense because you really don't want to. I mean, that really isn't like a. It's like a WrestleMania main event kind of worthy match. I mean, it's a good match, but not a WrestleMania main event. Not for main event. What else? Seth Rollins defending the title against Ryback. No, that wouldn't work. Seth Rollins defending the belt against Dean Ambrose. That would work. You can reignite their feud. I loved their feud in 2014. I do think they are going to rehash it in 2015 at some point when Seth Rollins does win that WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And if they actually ended up having a match at Mania for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, I would not complain at all. I would be down with that. You know, it would be phenomenal. It could be like the final encounter, and you wouldn't really know which way you could go. Or you could have Seth Rollins defend the belt against Dolph Ziggler. That's not really a WrestleMania main event, though. We've seen it, you know, before. I think that's kind of like a... You can make the argument, though, that the story could be that Dolph Ziggler can't beat Seth Rollins clean because he never has, because he had interference from Sting, and he had interference from J&J Security, which is Jamie Noble and Joey Mercury, when he beat him on SmackDown. So you can make the argument about that, use that as a story. Seth Rollins defending the belt against Rusev isn't happening, and you could have Seth Rollins defend the belt against Randy Orton, because technically Seth Rollins took out Randy Orton, and you could build a WrestleMania main event around that. I wouldn't really complain about that. The only problem is they would probably have to put the belt on Orton, which I hope they wouldn't do. So those are your options for WrestleMania for the title match. The logical one is going to be probably Lesnar Reigns. I could see Lesnar Ryback, and I could see Lesnar Bryan. I do think Brock Lesnar is going to walk into WrestleMania as the champion. That nothing's going to really change about that. So now let's talk about some other matches that could happen. You could still have Seth Rollins versus Daniel Bryan. I'd be down with that. Daniel Bryan continues his feud with Triple H and Stephanie McMahon of The Authority, and you have an awesome match between Daniel Bryan and Seth Rollins. I would be fine with that. You could have Ryback versus Rusev for the U.S. title. Rusev is still the champion. He's walking in the match. Well, actually, I'm going to talk about that when I get there, actually. You could have, what else can you have Bryan do at Mania? Let's talk about Bryan for a little bit. Because there really isn't a lot of options for Bryan. I can't really think of anything besides Seth Rollins. Maybe, I can't really think of anybody else, to be honest with you. I'm not really sure. Seth Rollins, you can still have him feud with Orton if he still has his case at the time. And, they can have a match at Mania and Rollins can go over. Or they can be stupid and put Orton over. Because I actually am interested in seeing when Orton comes back and having their feud. That'd be awesome. I'd be down with that. I'm trying to think of anything else they could possibly do. One title match I actually didn't mention is they could have Seth Rollins defend the belt in a triple threat match against Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose. You can do a triple threat match for the title with former members of the Shield. It would make a lot of sense, and I really wouldn't know what direction they're. They could go the Roman Reigns direction, they can go the Dean Ambrose direction, or they can go the Seth Rollins direction. What else could they do? I can't really think of anything else. Damn, John Cena, Rusev. So let's talk about Rusev. I'm going to talk about his matches, because I'm not really sure, because Rusev, I think, will still have his streak by WrestleMania, unless they want to have Ryback win the Rumble. He would probably have to beat Rusev first. He'll still be the U.S. champion. Who is he going to face, though? I have no idea. They could have him face Ryback and have... Because I think Rusev's streak will be over at WrestleMania. And it's going to be a big moment when he loses. They could have him face Ryback, have Ryback break his streak. They could do the piss-off route and have John Cena break his streak, which we don't want to see that. No, no, no. Or, people have been talking about this, they could have Kurt Angle return. Because I heard that he's been talking to the WWE. I've heard some rumors, too, that it's not going to happen. He's not going to be there. He's going back to TNA. But I actually would like to see Kurt Angle come back to the WWE. I don't really... It's just he doesn't belong in TNA anymore. He's so bland now. If he goes to the WWE, I think he would be more, he'll have more emphasis. He'll be the Kurt Angle from the WWE. And I want to hear that song again. You suck. I like that song. And you could have Kurt Angle, Rusev call out an open challenge. Kurt Angle beats him, squashes him. He accepts it and beats him in 30 seconds by making Rusev hitting Rusev with the ankle slam or having him tap out to the ankle lock. And Angle becomes the new U.S. champion. I would not complain about that. And then from there on, once Rusev probably loses his streak, though, he's probably going to go down like Vladimir Kozlov did. Remember that guy? Alright, what else? I've been talking a lot about the matches. I'm not sure if they're still going to have the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. If they do, my winners possibly would be Bryan. I can't really say right now, but they had but this time they have to make it mean something. They did have Cesaro win. It meant something for probably until after SummerSlam, and then Cesaro, look where he is now. He's a tag team with Tyson Kidd. What else? The tag team title match I could see being... I definitely think they're going to have Jimmy and Jay the Usos defend the belts against the Ascension, Connor and Victor. Because they finally on the main roster. Everyone wants to see this match. I think they're going to do it at Mania and have the Ascension win the tag team titles. And I think I might be right on that one. Trying to think of other matches they could do. For the IC title, I'm not really sure. I don't even know if they'll defend it this year, but they haven't defended it, I think, since WrestleMania 28. I wouldn't be shocked if they didn't defend it. I don't even know what you could really do with the IC title. I'd be fine with it. I'd be all down if they defended it. Like I said, for the US title, you could do all that stuff. The Divas title, I'm not even sure. They might just do another Diva match like they did last year, where they just threw a bunch of Divas in that no one cared about because the Undertaker streak ended, though. So, if I wouldn't be shocked if they had that shows how much they think of the Divas. They put the Divas match after the Undertaker streak ended. Who would care about that? I want to talk about The Miz versus Damien Mizdow, or maybe Damien Sandow if he goes back to being Damien Sandow. Because right now they're together. They just lost the tag team titles. I think they're going to start building a feud. They're going to start building the breakup between Miz and Sandow. And Sandow will turn face. I don't know if he'll turn face before the Fastlane. They're going to have a new pay-per-view called Fastlane. I think that's a stupid name. And I think it sucks that they got rid of the Elimination Chamber, because that was the only gimmick pay-per-view I actually liked, except the Royal Rumble, but that doesn't count. So, yeah, I think they're going to definitely go with that, and they're going to have Sandow beat Miz. He's going to be the big baby face, but who knows how long. I'm not really sure what Sandow could really do after, he's a face. I actually want to see a triple threat match between the Wyatt family, Bray Wyatt versus Eric Rowan versus Luke Harper. I want to see that match this year. I actually, when Luke Harper was the IC champion, I thought they were going to do that match for the IC title, but I don't think they're going to because, they still could. That's not too late. But I would actually be all down if they actually had that match. I really would want to see that match after I saw SmackDown tonight. That'd be awesome. And obviously have Bray Wyatt go over because he's the lead. He was the leader, so I think he should go over. I wouldn't complain if Luke Harper went over, and I wouldn't complain if Eric Rowan went over. But if they don't do the triple threat, I do want to see Luke Harper and Eric Rowan have a match at Mania. That would be awesome. I don't really know how you can build it up because they both don't talk much, but you can just have them have big brawls and stuff. And they probably would put Luke Harper over. Eric Rowan's going to go nowhere. It sucks. They should have done something with him. I actually don't really think he's that bad. He was awful in the Wyatt family. I'll admit that. He was bad, but because they made him to be bad. He was the jobber of the Wyatt family, but I think he's actually okay. I mean, he's not great, but he's okay. I have no clue what they're going to do with Big Show at Mania. They'll probably put him in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, or do some stupid match with them, like have him fight some boxer, have him fight a sumo wrestler, or for all we know, he could act like he's a zombie from The Walking Dead, and he faces Rick, Dale, Glenn, or yeah, that would be bad. Oh man, I actually want to see an appearance though by Hulk Hogan, because he is WrestleMania. Shawn Michaels, I actually was kind of pissed he didn't really have a big impact last year at Mania, because it was the 30th one, but it would be nice to see Shawn Michaels there. Shawn Michaels, I would like to see an appearance by Stone Cold Steve Austin. I wouldn't complain I wouldn't be shocked if he didn't show up. Maybe The Rock. You could also have The Rock come out and break Rusev's streak in an open challenge, but I don't think that's going to happen. Or you could just do a straight-out match with The Rock and Rusev for the U.S. title. Well, just have a match. I don't really think they would obviously have The Rock win the U.S. title. A match that they could possibly do is Goldust versus Cody Rhodes. They've been building this match for years. They've been teasing that they're going to do this match. They started at WrestleMania 28 when Cody Rhodes was the IC champion and he was feuding with Booker T for the belt. And Goldust had come out and cut a promo on him, and you thought they were going to do it then, but they put Big Show there instead, which I thought was fine. 29, it didn't happen. Goldust was a surprise entrant in the Royal Rumble. You thought it was going to happen then, but it didn't happen then. I really thought it was going to happen last year. They started building at the Royal Rumble. They lost the tag team titles to the New Age Outlaws, which consisted of the Road Dogg Jesse James and the Badass Billy Gunn. And I thought they were going to put the belts on them, and they lost the cage match, but I thought they were going to have them wrestle that year, but they didn't. They sort of did because they were in there under the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, but they really didn't have that one-on-one match we wanted them to have. Maybe this could be the time, though. They still have a lot of time to build it up. I'm not sure if they will, but, you know, they still could. I don't know if they would have him work the match as Cody Rhodes or Stardust. I would prefer to have him work it as Cody Rhodes, just because the match, I think the build-up would be better if he was Cody Rhodes, but I wouldn't complain if he was Stardust. Maybe what could happen is Cody Rhodes destroys Stardust. No, Goldust destroys Stardust, and Cody Rhodes makes his return at Fastlane or something like that. On the pre-show, they might do it. I'm actually thinking they're gonna have the Bunny come back and feud with Adam. Well, continue the feud with Adam Rose and beat Adam Rose on the pre-show. If that happens, I will not be tuning in to watch the WrestleMania pre-show unless they really, really sold me. But they're not going to sell me to that match. But unless they had something else on the pre-show. But other than that, I am not watching the WrestleMania pre-show. Thank you very much. That's about it. Who didn't I talk about? I did talk about Cena. I don't really know what they're going to do with Cena this year at Mania. The only match I think he could have is either against Rusev or those title options I talked about. Not sure what they can do with Cena. I'm not sure what they can do with Ziggler, Bryan. It's so tough. Roman Reigns, to be honest with you, if he doesn't win the Rumble, if they can get Batista back, I would like to see a Batista-Roman Reigns match at WrestleMania, but I wouldn't complain if they didn't do that because, they just wouldn't. But, yeah, that's pretty much it. Maybe they could have Dean Ambrose break Rusev's streak. I'm just wondering, the one thing that's actually selling me is maybe seeing who Rusev will lose to at Mania, because I think he'll still have his streak by Mania. And I can't wait to see. Once Rusev loses, I'm going to mark out. But that's it. This is a lot of jumping around, but because this is that kind of video. But that's pretty much it, guys. Yeah, WrestleMania 31's on the way. We just got to get to the Royal Rumble first, and then Fastlane. Dumb pay-per-view, dumb name. They should have just kept Elimination Chamber. I read online, though, that they didn't want to get anybody's hopes up that Brock Lesnar would be in the Chamber if he's the champion. and they wanted to get rid of it. I think they're still going to have it. It's going to replace Battleground. I'm not really sure. I'm not really going to talk too much about it. They should have just gone back to No Way Out, because that was a good pay-per-view, but they went with Fastlane. I think that's dumb as hell. So that's pretty much it, guys. I'm going to actually come back tomorrow to start my Royal Rumble series review. I'm going to start doing that review, and I'm going to watch everyone. Well, I'm going to try to anyways, but it's going to be tough. And I'm going to watch, at least everyone and review everyone. So that's pretty much it, guys. I'll be back then, and see you later.